We all have our views. I want to move on because an important, very important issue we need to look at. Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore, two NASA astronauts, are about to return to Earth from the ISS, or the International Space Station, where they have been living for 9 months in a drawn-out mission fraught with technical challenges, schedule changes and politics. The 4-person crew, formerly part of NASA's Crew 9 astronaut rotation mission, is scheduled for a splashdown of Florida's coast later at around 3:27 a.m. So in about 4 hours, viewers. The absence of gravity has its effects on long-duration space travelers who experience dizziness, nausea, and an unstable gait when they return to Earth. Many people say that for Williams and Wilmore, the challenges won't end as they enter and land on Earth. They will begin, and that a lot of care needs to be taken. So what lies next for Sunita Williams and the co-traveling astronaut with her? Let's go across to Jonathan Levy, space commentator. Mr. Levy, thank you very much for speaking to me. Why did it, first of all, take so long to mount what many people are saying is a rescue mission?
I think the thing is, it isn't essentially a rescue mission, but a retasked mission. So when these astronauts got stuck in the space station back in the summer of last year, the mission that came up in September would normally have had 4 crew on it. So they only put 2 crew on that mission, so that when it was time for this crew to return, now aboard the Crew 10 capsule, there would be room for them to return. So they had to stay in space to take advantage of that opportunity, because there isn't a rescue mission capsule just waiting to go. So they've really had to join in a shift that wasn't intended and return at the same time as that crew that went up in September.
What challenges do the astronauts face now?
Well, they've been in space for this extended mission of 6 months, so their bodies take the toll of being in space that length of time. And the 4G they'll experience during the fiery re-entry, when the temperatures outside the spacecraft are about 1,500 degrees centigrade, put quite a strain on the body. And when they splash down in the ocean, sort of 45 minutes after their re-entry burn has started, they'll have to readjust to being on Earth. And it's similar to other astronauts, but it's the toll on their bodies, and it's still not clear exactly how astronauts react to long times in space, hence the interest for when we go back to the moon or maybe go on to Mars.
Well, that's in the immediate, of course, but there are concerns about how they will adapt to life in the slightly near term on Earth. There's radiation threat and the loss of muscle mass, etc. What's the prognosis on that?
Well, first of all, they will have to get used to the Earth's gravity again. They have to build their strength up. We have to avoid blood pooling in the legs, which, so they've got to keep that fitness up in space. But this exposure to cosmic radiation is still quite unknown. And when there are solar flares, they have to go to a part of the space station which is more shielded. Usually inside, one of the modules. So it's still a hazard, and this is one of the big hazards ahead should mankind want to venture much further into space.
Well, thank you, Mr. Levy, for putting that into perspective for us viewers. Some people say it's going to be challenging when they return to Earth, and one just is keeping us fingers crossed and hoping that that landing goes off according to plan. And what a feat it will be. What a heroic return back to Earth. We leave